When you think about racism in America, you probably think about laws, policing, and politics. But what if I told you the streets we walk on, the highways we drive, and the railroad tracks we cross are all a part of the same story? America's infrastructure, sidewalks, highways, and railroads has been systematically segregating and controlling and disadvantaging black and brown communities. Let's break it down in this video.
I got no country, I've got no flag. Now, he's only 16 years old. And I couldn't say you do. I don't have any evidence to prove that he does. They were tearing down his house because San Francisco is engaging, as most northern cities now are engaged, in something called urban renewal.
Let's talk highways. In the 1950s and 60s, America launched the Interstate Highway Boom. This was under Dwight D. Eisenhower's urban renewal plan. But highways didn't just cut through cities, they destroyed them. Time and time again, highways were built straight through black neighborhoods. Take Miami's Overtown, New Orleans' Treme, or Detroit's Black Bottom. Thriving black communities wiped out, families displaced, businesses bulldozed. The excuse, urban renewal. The reality, segregation by concrete. Highways weren't just roads, they were barriers. They walled off poor and minority communities from wealthier white neighborhoods. They devalued black homes while raising property values on the other side. And they locked entire communities into a cycle of poverty and pollution. Today, those scars are still visible. Stand in any major city, you'll see it. Highways slicing between the good side and the bad side of town. That isn't by accident, it's policy.
They tore our homes all along that stretch on Beacon where 74 is running now. I know that good 25 homes they took down, just tore down to make the interstate from access from 74 to come through the neighborhood.
Before highways, there were railroad tracks, and they became America's original color line. Cities zoned black and immigrant communities next to rail lines and factories. That meant noise, smoke, and low property values. Meanwhile, in white neighborhoods, they were placed farther away with cleaner air and safer streets. The phrase wrong side of the tracks, that's not just a metaphor. It was a real dividing line that separated opportunity from oppression. And like highways later on, the tracks created physical and social barriers that reinforced segregation.
Railroad tracks, a symbol of separation.
Of segregation, a physical boundary.
Dividing towns, dividing races.
The other side of the tracks.
Is there hope for crossing the tracks? I'm Pam Salisbury.
Maybe we have come a long way, then too, maybe there's still a long way to go. I'm David Crabtree. These tracks are, in a sense, a symbol of division. They are what they are, man-made steel impaling the earth, like scars embedded in skin, man-made scars in black skin and white.
Mankind, it seems, has always suffered from the wound of racism. The irony is that it is self-inflicted. Maybe the only way to heal racism, to begin to heal it, is to address the wound, address the issue, look at it from all angles.
I remember growing up, and my community never really had sidewalks. They were rare. Sidewalks might seem simple, a strip of concrete so people can walk safely, but not every community gets one. Historically, white suburban neighborhoods get well-paved sidewalks, crosswalks, and lighting. Meanwhile, many black and brown neighborhoods were left without. Without sidewalks, kids have to walk to school in the street. Families risk getting hit by cars, or even getting to the bus stop can be dangerous. This isn't random. It's a result of decades of disinvestment. City budgets consistently prioritize wealthier white areas while ignoring communities of color. It's not just about concrete, it's about safety, health, and access. Fewer sidewalks mean higher pedestrian deaths, less access to public transit, and fewer opportunities to move freely around the community. That's why critics call sidewalks planning systematic racism in plain sight.
And Reed is an urban planner in the Washington, D.C. area.
What does it mean, especially to communities of color, to not have access to good, reliable mass transportation?
One of the leading indicators of somebody's ability to climb the economic ladder is access to transportation. And so when you compound that on top of a legacy of segregation and discrimination in this country, it becomes just another contributor to the racial wealth gap.
Sidewalks, highways, railroad tracks, on the surface, they're just infrastructure. But in reality, they're tools of power, built in ways to benefit some and harm others. Black and brown communities weren't just neglected, they were systematically boxed in, cut off, and placed at risk. Through everyday infrastructure decisions, most people don't even notice. The next time you walk down the street with no sidewalk, drive past a highway, cutting through a neighborhood, or hear the phrase, other side of the tracks, remember, these aren't just accidents of history. They're concrete, legacy, and systematic racism in America. So let's stop writing off the plight of the black and brown community as just victimhood mentality. And stop asking, how has systematic racism affected us in 2025 when these issues are still relevant today? So what do you think? Should America start tearing down these old barriers, or are they here to stay? Let's talk about it in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for coming out to the Political Black Guy channel. Peace.